All right, so many things to cover with you, but before we get started, I'm ask you if you've heard the latest research that there are actually 2 and maybe 3 ways to rock. I don't know if you heard that. Oh, we're rolling. Good evening and welcome to the show. I am Clint Black, and tonight I am talking in circles with Sammy Hagar. Sammy!
At your service.
Rock and roll is in the house. Sammy, you have rocked hard for more than 50 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a trip.
So I'm a little kid, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old, and I didn't know who anyone was. I wasn't reading the liner notes at the time, but I became very attached to a particular album, one of my older brothers, called Montrose. And
1973.
yeah, so I was 11 and rocking out. And I think at the time, probably a lot of people didn't realize how important that album was, but I believe that that album influenced a lot of our biggest rock bands. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but I hear the influence in some of my other favorite music like Deep Purple. I think that it was only in hindsight that everybody was able to realize the greatness of that album. Probably at the time, rock songs weren't topping out the popular charts.
That album never made the top 200, and it sold 7 million records.
Yeah, huge,
Yeah, it
huge.
Just kept selling, but it didn't come out strong. We worked 3 years on the road. Went 3 years on the road on that record. Never made a penny. I got fired in Paris, the last tango in Paris, and went home, started a new band, started a solo career. And that record just kept selling and kept selling. The second record, no, Ronnie made a couple more Montrose records, didn't sell. That first record was just like, it's a Bible for rock, for Van Halen, Motley Crue, all the bands, the Cult. Every time I meet anyone, the first thing they say is, oh man, the Montrose record. Here, even Clint Black is coming in talking about that Montrose record. First record I ever made in my life, first songs I ever wrote in my life. I didn't know anything what I was doing. I just went out innocent and hit it.
Yeah, that was like a greatest hits album, for fans, not for the charts, but so many of those songs on there became huge songs for us. And Make It Last was, I think, my favorite. That and Rock Candy, the Space Station.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Rock the Nation.
Yeah, there's Good Rockin' Tonight.
There's 8 songs in there.
Yeah.
So there's only a couple more. And there's, out of the 8, 5 of them become, FM AOR radio classics, and still today, you hear Rock Candy every now and then. You hear, Bad Motor Scooter. Bad Motor Scooter and Make It Last, I wrote those songs, first 2 songs I ever wrote in my life. I just decided one day I was going to write a song, and I wrote Bad Motor Scooter. And then I decided I was going to write another one, and I wrote Make It Last. And then I met Ronnie Montrose. And
were you writing on guitar? Or just using paper? So you're coming up with those licks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are iconic.
Not Rock Candy, that's Ronnie's lick. That's, the whole band wrote that song.
But that is such a guitar lick-oriented album.
Yeah.
And it's the thing I've noticed as you've gone on from there. I'm surprised to learn that you're not really that into guitar. You'll play it live. I can't understand it because you play so well. I can't understand you putting it down. But that's what I hear, is that you're just okay to just sing.
Well, I'm a lot more comfortable walking out with a guitar on and singing and playing guitar. Could you imagine, having nothing but this microphone and a big old crazy band behind you, and you're standing there with 40,000 people and entertain us, So, and I'm not much of a dancer. I can jump around and run around and do stupid, but I like having a guitar around my neck, but I don't like being strapped down, because when I'm singing, I sing much better when I don't play guitar. But I write everything on guitar. I don't play any other instruments. I don't have a choice.
And as you went on, and I get that you really like being in a band. That's the impression I get.
I'm really not a solo artist. I've had probably as much success as a solo artist as it has, you know, in bands like Montrose didn't have any success. Originally, Van Halen had tons of success, but, you know, like, I'm in a band now, I call it The Circle, with Jason Bonham on drums and Michael Anthony from Van Halen on bass. I like having band members, you know, I don't like having all that pressure, and I don't feel comfortable being a star. I really don't. I like being a part of a group, much better. It's so much more comfortable. People think I'm very confident, you know, like I talk about this very rarely, but for some reason I'm willing to talk to you about it.
Tell us your flaws.
Well,
Give
it's so
us
funny because I'm very uncomfortable as an artist on stage. And when I come out on stage and I see videos of myself and I go, geez, man, wow, you know, wow, you've been feeling good that night or whatever. But just something happens and it's not a fake switch. It just, when I get in front of people, I'm so uncomfortable that I become a little bit outgoing and more of a reckless person. And I'll say and do anything. And then I come off stage and I don't think I've ever walked off stage without my wife or one of my kids or my manager, or somebody saying, wow, I can't believe you said that, or I can't believe you did that. You know, just some little stupid thing. And I'm going, I can't believe it either. You know, because in general, I'm a very shy, kind of.
I get that.
Kind of a recluse, you know.
When you were back in the Montrose, and you toured 3 years, you said, right?
Yeah, nonstop.
Well, you must have played guitar.
No, Ronnie would not let me touch his guitar. That's the other weird thing that happened to me, just karmically, why I think I learned to be a better singer without playing guitar. Because when I started off as a kid, you know, I played guitar and sang everything. I would never think about taking the guitar off. I'm a guitar player, a singer, you know. So Ronnie's going, well, no, I'm just looking for a singer when we started the band. He said, no, I just want a singer. And I'm going, okay, you know, I'll do that. And it would be like sound check. I'd say, Ronnie, go out in front so we could hear the band. And I'd say, you want me to play your guitar? Don't touch my guitar. I'd be, oh, whoa, okay. So that's why I know I'm a good guitar player, because I freaked Ronnie the hell out. But no, I never touched a guitar on stage in Montrose. Van Halen, same thing. I did a solo career, you know, I Can't Drive 55, Three Lock Box, all those years, 10 years solo, playing guitar half the time, 50-50. And then Van Halen, I joined Van Halen. Nah, you know, first of all, you can't play what Eddie plays and sing at the same time. Don't even try that. That's why Eddie's not a singer. He wasn't a singer, because the way he decided to play guitar and the tunings and the crazy fingering and the positioning that he used is like foreign language to me.
Well, there's no room for you to play some power chords, or?
Once in a while, when he played keyboards, I would play guitar. And on the one song was Finish What You Started that we wrote together on guitars. And everything we wrote together, normally I didn't play guitar on it. He just played guitar. I sang to what he was playing and wrote lyrics. But that song we wrote together. And
one of my favorites.
Yeah, a little country.
One of my favorite Van Halen songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that kind of a little bit of a chicken picking thing going on.
Yeah, it's just so.
Yeah, but it's hooky and
funky,
rocking
man.
still.
It's really got a. Eddie was a really. He could have been in a soul band. He could have played for James Brown. He had a great right hand, great left hand. He was really had great time and incredible, funky little riffs. If you listen to his solos, they're always loose and it's like a cat falling down stairs and then bam, lands on their feet, you know.
I grew up and it was all of the country greats, Merle Haggard and Willie and Waylon and all that stuff from early childhood. And then I have 3 older brothers. So when I was about 8, they started bringing home the rock and roll. I was listening to Johnny and Edgar Winter and Leon Russell. Before I even played an instrument, I'm walking around singing Fly Away by Edgar Winter and Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo and all of that stuff. So I was, you know, I couldn't really sing any of that rock and roll. And I actually went out to LA for a brief moment, and somebody out there said, hey, you don't belong here. You know, you need to go to Nashville. We all want to step out. I'm sure you want to play country. So you ever play country songs?
All the time. I mean, I have more country friends nowadays than rock and roll guys. Most of the rock and roll guys are dying. I mean, I hate to say it, but...
That's not funny.
Well, it's true, though. Sometimes the truth is funny. I have so many country friends, and I love country music, especially the traditional stuff, you know, Merle and just, man, that stuff gives me, look, my fur starts going up, man. I get goosebumps just thinking about some of those songs, you know, that, because country has that honesty. I don't think it has that as much anymore. But for instance, your first record, my ex-wife, she was totally in the country. And she brought your album home. It's right around, I think, when you and Dwight Yoakam came out, kind of around the same years. I just remember
Yep.
those guitars and Cadillacs in your first record, of her going, look, because she knew I was a Roy Rogers freak. When I was a kid, I had the Roy Rogers stuff, had the boots, had the hat. Man, I wanted, you know, a horse like Trigger, and I wanted to marry Dale Evans, right? and and you look, of course, everybody knows is Roy Rogers reincarnation, right? And she's going, look at this guy, he looks just like your hero. So I listened to a lot of Clint Black's first record, and, you know, to me, great songwriting, great guitar playing, good sound and record, and it just was more authentic kind of country. That's what I still listen to when I listen to country. I mean, I love Luke Combs, you know. Come on, who
he's
doesn't
real
love
country.
long neck beard
Yeah.
never broke my heart? Who doesn't like that? Okay, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah,
And
there's some real country stuff
there's coming
happening.
back underground right now.
It's always changing, you know, but it'll always come back. When you were writing those Montrose songs, you said, oh, I'm going to write a song, and you just decide. That's what happened to me. And then over time, I had to then keep up with a recording career, and I knew I had to make a craft out of it. So it's not an accident. Things happen accidentally, but you had to come up with a consistency in the way you do it, right?
Yeah, kind of. Back then, I would just make everything up. And I would just pick up a guitar, and I'd noodle, and I'd come up with a riff. Da-da, ba-da. You know? Da-da-da-da-da. And then I would have to try to sing to it, because when I'm playing, I have a hard time singing. But I knew what I was singing in my head. I'd hum around. Then I'd write lyrics, and then I'd get somebody else to play the guitar, you know, even if just so I could work out my part. And I put it on a little tape recorder, sing to it. But, you know, I would like to have a guy where I could play loud and sing loud. I have a hard time coming up with melodies unless I can sing full out, and I sing really loud. You know, I'm one of those singers. I don't sing, you know, so I have a hard time unless it's cranked up to really give a good vocal performance. So I just made everything up, though. I made up the story and just kind of let it come. It's like that kind of thing where you just let it come through you. Don't overthink it. A lot of times my lyrics, in the early days especially, would just be, I'd just think of a line. I remember when I was 17, well, now what are we going to say? My father told me, pick your dreams, you know? That's the way I did it. But now, as a, you know, all these years where I had a hard time about 10 years ago, I thought I was done. I thought I couldn't write a lyric after Van Halen. I'm going, right after Van Halen, I had a great run after Van Halen because I had a lot of things to talk about. But then I got this thing, this writer's block, which I'm sure you've had, where I'm going, I can't say that. I already said that. I can't use that word. I've used that word. I hate the word love. Don't want any word love. Nothing rhymes with love anyway, right? It's like love is a terrible word to try to rhyme something that hasn't been said, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, then you get into that thing where I'm just not going to rhyme anymore. I'm just going to just write a bunch of lyrics. And you just try to sing that and you go, oh, God, this is terrible. I really got in a slump. And Mellencamp, of all people, gave me this thing. He's going, Sam, he goes, man, what do you mean? I said, yeah, I'm having a hard time writing lyrics. He's going, well, you ever never heard of, I forget what he called it. He just, like, you just take a line out of your favorite song, like, you know, Honky Tonk Woman, you know, like a barroom queen, you know, leave Memphis out, a barroom queen, you know, and he goes, and just say, you know.
Stepping off.
Yeah, met a barroom queen. Then what happened? Yeah. Make up your own story from there, and then pick another one from some other song, Led Zeppelin, you know, Stairway to My Father's House, you know. you know, it's like, and he told me, he goes, look, I'll write a song right now. And he wrote this, and I'm going, damn, you know. And I started doing it a little bit, and it really got me out of my slump. Lyrics are, to me, now I can't just make stuff up anymore. So that's, you know, I make a record every 7 years, every 8 years, 10 years, I don't know. I don't make a lot of records, and I don't write a lot of songs. But when I do write a song now, I think it's true. It's got, like what I loved about country, it's a real story. You know, it's got soul.
So
And that means a lot to me.
So
if I'm
it
going to sing
matters
it,
to you now if it's ringing true, as opposed to just, hey, this sounds good together.
yeah. I'm either coming from someplace making a statement, which I like to stay away from politics, but sometimes I do get a little upset about something. And even I Can't Drive 55, you know, the song that it seems like my biggest gimmick song, that song is completely true story. I went to Africa on vacation with my family. I was gone for 2 months. When I got back, they changed the speed limit. I traveled 24 hours from Nairobi to upstate New York, where I lived in Lake Placid, New York. So I get all the way to there. I rent a car. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm driving for the last 50 miles from Albany or whatever it was, the airport, to my house. And I get pulled over on a 4-lane road with nobody there. I was doing 58 miles an hour. And the cop comes up and he goes, hey, you know, let me see you driving. I said, what was I doing? You know, I was pissed off. You know, what am I doing? He goes, you're speeding. I'm saying, I was going 58 miles an hour. I was going under 60. And he's going, we give tickets around here for 55 miles an hour. And I looked at my wife and I went, I can't drive 55 miles an hour. What the hell's going on? You know, I had no idea that they'd changed the speed limit while I was gone. And I got to my house after, you know, 30 hours of travel, and I wrote the damn song. It was a protest song, and I was real. I can still sing that song. I do have a hard time driving the speed limits, but it's really true. It was a real protest song.
And you know, everybody in the 60s is thinking, what has become of protest songs?
I mean, to me, everyone I ever meet said, whoa, what a great, you know, they think it's like a, what do you call it, like a gimmick, you know, like I came up with this brilliant idea, you know. No.
Yeah, you're just
the
mad.
idea came to me, which is the best way of writing too, right? When inspiration comes to you. You go around knocking on doors and looking under beds and cupboards and everything for inspiration.
There's a saying, the inspiration will find you, but it must find you working. So if you're trying, but I think you've got to have the break. You've got to go do some living. You were in a circumstance that spawned the song, right? So everything we go and do when we're not writing, if we're paying attention, when we're the receptacles, then when it comes time to write, we've lived, we've had some input, and we may have some output again.
That's true. When you get out, I do notice you get out of your house. I can stay home for a week at a time, just walk on the beach, you know, with my wife and my dog. But you know, when I get out and do something, I say, I don't want to go to that party. I don't want to go see all those people. You know, so we go do it, and sure enough, something happens that makes you get all inspired. Oh, what a great idea! Oh man, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna build that restaurant. Or I'm gonna, you know, there's always inspiration. You have to get out and be available for it to find you.
What a joy it is to be able to have these different bands throughout your career. And it's a testament to you, who you are, I think, as a person, as a talent, as a songwriter and a singer, to attract these kinds of musicians to come and be in a band with you.
Yeah, I like being in bands, and people know that, you know, the old lead singer's disease thing, it's not me. I'm a musician. I consider myself a musician. I don't like being a frontman. It's always like, well, somebody's got to be the frontman. Who's going to sing? Every band, okay, I can sing. I'm going to be the singer. Next thing you know, you're the frontman. But being a solo artist to me it's fun. You know, make a record, you get artsy, you know, you can do whatever you want and so on. With a band, you know, where everybody gives a little bit more and you could, you know, collaborate. And playing with great players, as you well know, it brings the best out of you, you know, and it elevates you. And
you're a part of something instead of, here, I have this, I'm the guy, and this is mine. Yeah.
If you've never done that, everyone wants to be a solo. Everyone quits bands to become a solo artist. I quit being a solo artist to join bands. It's just kind of been my way, you know.
You've been rocking hard for a long time, and it's good.
Too late to stop now.
It's great, yeah. One more question I have. I ask all my guests, when you get to heaven, if you could sing a song with anyone who's already there, who would it be and what song would you sing?
Well, it'd have to be Elvis, the king of all kings. Boom. I mean, was there ever a greater star? I mean, the guy was so charismatic. He was so talented. His voice, he could sing any way, anything. Man, I might want to sing hound dog with him or something. I don't know. You know, something I could get down with. You know, I didn't like his you know, when he used that, wise men say. I didn't like that part of Elvis, but the fact that he could do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was like, wow, he can do that. And then he go, hey, no, you know.
Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah, we'd probably cause trouble up there anyway, but. No, I think Elvis was the greatest music star ever. Ever. You can take them all and say, nah, I'm sorry, king of pop and king of this, king of that. He was the king, period.
Well, I hope it's a long time from now. He can wait.
Yeah, he can wait.
And we'll keep you here as long as we can.
I plan to live 100, so, you know.
Keep it up. Thank you for being here, Sammy.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you. Sammy Hagar.